So I already made my coffee today. I accidentally didn't press record on the thing, so it's already made. But that being said, it's degenerate coffee. For those of you who don't know what degenerate coffee is, I talked about it on my live stream this morning at 5 a.m., Monday through Thursday. And the degenerate coffee is pre-ground chocolate hazelnut Trader Joe's coffee. Now, it's called degenerate coffee because how degenerate is it of me, a coffee connoisseur, to have pre-ground and flavored? Those aren't tasting notes. Those are artificial flavorings in it. Not sweetener, but flavorings. Even worse. That basically tastes like cigarettes. And I absolutely love that. It's so nostalgic. It's this bitterness to it. And the nostalgia reminds me of a simpler time, a time when we weren't bombarded with news articles about Nintendo suing everybody. We weren't just punched in the face with social issues in video games. A simpler time when gaming was silly, when you could call your friends some dirty names and they would laugh and it wouldn't turn into a lawsuit. But something I want to talk about today was, it's been a month with PC. I've been running Steam Deck PC for the past month, and it's completely transformed the way that I view video games. I know that sounds really grandiose, and I don't know if I have apple in my teeth or not, but it certainly feels like I do. I have like a gnarly headache, and so I'm hoping the coffee helps with the headache. I have been a Nintendo fan man my whole life. I have Nintendo stuff everywhere. Zelda, the history of the NES, Super Nintendo, N64, and the Game Boy Advance one coming soon from Bitmap Books. I buy all the books full price, by the way. This isn't a plug for them freebie, right? I don't get their stuff for free. That shelf right there is probably worth like $500 in books. But I've been a huge fan of Nintendo. And what's going on in the news is disheartening. I think that because I was a console gamer, I just kind of looked the other way with everything that was happening with Nintendo, because I felt like, whatever, dude, I'm going to use them anyway, because what other options do I have, right? And it's true to a certain extent. I'm not going to be able to get my Mario fix the same way elsewhere. I can steal the games or buy them and emulate them, but it's breaking the rules, and I don't love that. Nintendo did just come out with a ruling, not a ruling, I guess that sounds too official, with a question to an FAQ basically stating that if you back up your games, it's copyright infringement. That's crazy. But again, this isn't a video against Nintendo. Rather, it is a video helping to explain what's happened to me as a gamer. See, growing up as a console gamer and looking at PC as some very, very grandiose, huge change, which it certainly isn't, and that's more of a new thing. Back in the 90s and 2000s, I mean, PC gaming was Counter-Strike, Red Alert, and RuneScape. Like that, those were the games that I thought. Quake, maybe Unreal Tournament. Like these were the games that were synonymous with PC gaming. And I'm sure there are so many that I'm missing. Missed, those weird click story games that, I mean, they're a big deal. Like, right, those were huge back in the day. And remember Putt-Putt? I remember Putt-Putt. I played Putt-Putt on my Mac. Those, when I thought of PC gaming, it was just such a weird nerdverse that I didn't understand. It was Star Trek. It was that. And I was Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. And that, for me, was a different type of gaming. It was PlayStation, Nintendo, which is so asinine. I understand that those stereotypes in and of themselves are ones that I directly was talking against in my last cup. But hey, none of us are perfect, and we all fall victim to being hypocritical at times. I'm not saying that's the way I look at it now, but as a dumb youngster, it's certainly how I looked at it. I just wasn't a PC gamer. I remember going over to my buddy's house in middle school, and my buddy's brother was real weird. He was in his boxers all the time. Now imagine a middle schooler seeing some dude's older brother running around in his boxers in the house all the time. I'm just like, why isn't he wearing clothes? This is so bizarre. As an adult man, I get it now. I get it. Why would I fully be dressed in my own home? Sounds ridiculous. I'm only doing it now because, well, maybe I'd get better views. Nah, probably not. Not a girl. But that being said, I remember him spending all his time talking to his friends on the phone about how good the game looks. I'm like, why isn't he playing the game? And my buddy's like, he doesn't play games. He just talks about how good it looks. And I'm like, yeah, PC gamers, dude, lame. Well, I've been playing on PC here for the past month. The seamless transition, first off, was incredible. But something that I have learned and something that it's really opened up my eyes to when it comes to my gaming as a whole is I'm in charge of my gaming. I am completely in charge of where I play. I am in charge of how I play. Now, sometimes the PC takes over and says, you're not playing right now. You're going to update shaders. And not just update shaders, but this game is just going to have weird HDR moments, which we experienced live on stream. Monday through Thursday, 5 a.m. Pacific time over on twitch.tv/JDXCoffee. Yeah, we had to troubleshoot. We had to figure it out. I had to unplug and plug back in a monitor because it was acting a fool. That happens sometimes. But my library, my Steam library on my deck, as well as on the PC itself, I got gifted Balatro, played it live on stream after I downloaded it, and then continued to play it on my Steam Deck before bed last night. And after I'm done doing this cup and editing it and posting it for you guys, I'm going to play Balatro because it is, gosh darn it, a very good game. An extremely good game. A very comforting game. It's wild. But I didn't have that experience before with PlayStation and Xbox. You see, with PlayStation and Xbox, the seamless transition between seated and standing wasn't quite there, especially because I had to rely on the Nintendo Switch and the Steam Deck in their own independent ways to grant me access to my games in such a fashion. Now, the Steam Deck as it stands by itself will allow me to do the hybrid gaming thing. The experience isn't perfect, and I'll tell you, playing natively on my PC versus docking the Steam Deck does feel better. It is a better experience altogether. But the Steam Deck itself, what it did was it helped kind of break the chains of the console gaming experience. Console gaming as a whole is a closed ecosystem. It is very streamlined, extremely optimized, and feels very good. It is for someone like myself who has little time and doesn't want to necessarily have to fiddle with technology, perceivably the right option. Well, the fiddling I have to do and the updates that take place from time to time are not really that big of a deal. But the trade-offs are wild, right? So first off, it's 4 times the amount to get a good PC. You do not have to spend $2,400 on a PC. You really don't have to spend that. But if you were to at least run, PlayStation 5 Pro for $700 or whatever, if you're to spend twice that, maybe a $1,500 PC, something like that, you can get a if not a little bit better experience. What I have taken from this experience and what has granted me the most amount of value was the detachment or the liberation or whatever you want to call it from Sony and Nintendo's closed library. Now, Nintendo as a whole does have a closed ecosystem. I am not going to get my Mario fix elsewhere. I'm not going to get my Zelda fix elsewhere, and that's fine. But Nintendo wasn't always just that for me. There was Octopath Traveler. It was Triangle Strategy. It was Spelunky. It was Eastward. It was Sea of Stars. It was these games which are available for me on my Steam Deck and play better, and also available for me on my PC and play better, and also available in a better streamlined situation for someone like myself who streams, which is also a huge factor here. Streaming for me is everything. I love it. It will be my career. It will be my job. I am stating it now. I will have a live show, right? I'm not going to say I'm going to be a live streamer because I want it to become a produced, to some extent, show, community-based show. Right? The beginnings of it right now over on Twitch, 5 a.m. Pacific time, twitch.tv/JDXCoffee. It's why I mention it so much, because I adore doing it. That being said, I wouldn't be able to do it as seamlessly if it wasn't for switching over to PC for the most part. But the experience playing games between the Steam Deck and the PC over these past 30 days. Now, Steam Deck, you guys know how I feel about it. I'm a deck daddy. I love this thing. It is the coolest piece of technology I have purchased in a long time, and the other versions of handheld PCs, which I will be exploring from time to time once funds open themselves for it, because I want to explore, are the future of gaming. If you are not on a portable PC right now, it will eventually be the way to play. I strongly believe it. I do not think that the PlayStation Portal or the PlayStation 5 combo between Portal and 5, which if you go Portal and PS5 Pro, you're already rounding $1,000. I don't think that experience is wildly exciting. I did it. I thought it was cool. But I'm going to be honest with you. The PC Steam Deck experience is great. And the Steam Link, or whatever, I forgot the name of it exactly. Maybe it is Steam Link. When you're playing off your PC to your Steam Deck, now that is chef's kiss amazing. I really find myself more drawn to this format because of the library management, but mostly it's because I feel like when I get a game, I'm not purchasing a limited time experience. Am I going to go back and play Black Myth Wukong 15 times? Hell no. I don't have that kind of patience. But I do know that when I inevitably upgrade one thing here, when I want to try it on the next iteration of the Asus Ally X2 or play it on the Lenovo Legion Go gadget, I'll be able to. I'll be able to go through a game in handheld form factor. In fact, I think that handheld form factor, the handheld form factor of flexible location gaming, as I've coined the phrase, I think that in it of itself is something that is absolutely the most exciting, has the highest potential for the future of gaming. Truly. Especially for us dads. I mean, you tell me right now, would you be more interested in playing 1080p, 1440p, 120 frames per second games on your handheld device, or would you rather play it on a 34-inch ultra-wide 21:9 monitor sitting at your desk in your office? Which one would you like? Would you rather see innovations in cheaper hardware when it comes to PC, or let me say it better, would you rather see innovations in lesser expensive hardware so that you can play higher quality games at a desk, or would you rather see innovations in smaller form factors so you can play higher quality, not higher quality, but better performing and AAA big heavy titles in the handheld hybrid form factor? Which one do you think has the most potential for growth? Which one do you feel like has the most potential for excitement? Lastly, which one do you think is the most exciting? And I know for me, since the introduction of the Nintendo Switch, I've always loved the idea of hybrid. I mean, I have been playing handheld Nintendo devices my whole life. I had the PSP back in the day. I didn't go PS Vita, but I had the PSP. I love handheld gaming. It is so wonderful. The fact that I can play it anywhere, as someone who has ADHD and needing to change my location all the time, that is something that helps a lot with maintaining focus, helping rejuvenate, also increasing dopamine responses, all of this. That's why I work on a laptop. You can sit here at the desk, start the edit, finish it on my kitchen table, export it, and upload it to the internet while sitting on my couch or sitting at the door of my kid's bedroom because they're crying and I'm waiting for 5 to 7 minutes to see if they stop and fall asleep. These kind of things, like being able to move around, is great. And I feel finally that I'm no longer having to juggle where things exist. And I will say that Game Pass as a whole has made a resurgence. I think that gaming subscription services are going to be the bane of gaming. Not bane of gaming, that's a weird way to put it. I think that they're going to be, or are they starting to be, gross. I don't like subscription services as a whole. I had to cancel a bunch of them because they were just wasting money. But I mean, look at it. You go to a really gross one would be HBO Max. Started at $9.99, went up to $14.99, and now if you want to play it, any of their titles in 4K UHD with no ads, you're having to spend $21. $21 a month. Everything increases in price. Every time it increases in price, they delete a feature. And now this is just another conversation for another time, but we've seen it with Game Pass. They started with Game Pass for $10, and then they said for $15, you can get Game Pass Ultimate, which includes every service available. And now, because of the acquisition of Blizzard as well as Activision, they have said, well, now we're going to increase it more, and only the top tier will be able to get these games included in their Game Pass subscription. We'll have a core that will allow you to have your online service, which I don't have to pay for, and you're good. But then this is the part that makes me want to punch everyone in the face. We will make you play the game late. And if you want to play the game on release day, you have to spend more money. Except we call release day early access. But we're just going to make you play the game late. And we're not going to give you all of the stuff that comes with the game. We're going to keep some of the additional missions and DLCs out of the game. And you can pay for that because including it in the game fully would mean that we have to give you all of the game in this service. Or you can spend even more money and not even purchase a game that's overpriced for $130 and spend something on something like Ubisoft Plus and get all of a game that really isn't worth mentioning because it wasn't worth playing. This kind of stuff I see prevalent everywhere. And you know who it's targeted towards? You guessed it. It's targeted towards the console gamer. The individual who has decided to choose the simpler route because it is indeed simpler. The individual who is choosing the digital-only version of a device or purchasing the pro version of a device for $700 and it's not including a disk drive. Now, believe you me, I know. My PC doesn't have a disk drive, and I can't tell you one PC game that comes with a disk copy anymore. So it is not any different on this. The biggest difference between the two is entering into the PC market in the PC space. There are a lot more things benefiting you, the gamer, when it comes to a digital gaming library than it would if you went and did the same thing on PlayStation or Xbox or even Nintendo. This is the biggest thing that I'm learning with PC gaming as a whole. The fact that the PlayStation 5 Pro ships for $700 without a disk drive. The fact that the Xbox Series X now has a 2 terabyte internal storage, which is useful for the 350 odd gigs of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 that exists. The fact that all of these devices now have huge internal storages and are emitting disk drives, or you can spend more money for the disk drive, is a tell. The tell is that games are going digital, which we know, which is fine. But the part that is the most infuriating isn't that games are going digital. It's that the subscription model, the subscription service, is making such a splash that it convinces the gamer that spending more money on subscriptions is important. And with PC gaming, I'm realizing that that kind of marketing doesn't work. Xbox Game Pass for PC or PC Game Pass or whatever you want to call it. I think it's PC Game Pass. That sure as heck exists, and it means I can play every Gears of War game, which I didn't play because I didn't have an Xbox growing up. Yeah. But the fact that Indiana Jones releases on Friday, but I can't play it until Monday unless I spend $35 extra for some jackets, some gloves, and the rest of the game is kind of crazy to me. That is what is happening. And with something like Steam, you wait for a sale to get the full game for cheaper. You can find the full game elsewhere for cheaper, or you can just buy the game outright and you're good. Now, can you buy the game outright for Xbox? Yes, but here's the problem. You have to keep buying Xboxes. Xbox is a bad example because you can technically play it on PC too. Now, that is a plus. PlayStation, on the other hand, Sparking Zero, which I purchased for $100 with early access because I'm a freaking idiot, is stuck on my PlayStation 5, and I'm waiting for a sale so I can play it on my PC because my PlayStation 5 is not even in my room anymore. It's not even in here. It's out in the living room. This kind of thing is something that I would have never been able to fully experience if it wasn't for diving in headfirst into the PC gaming market. I remember receiving ridicule for getting a pre-build, but those people have since long gone. They've disappeared from the chat or from the videos because they were just there to say that they don't like pre-builds. But really, when it comes down to gaming as a whole, I see the PC Steam Deck combination fitting in my lifestyle so well because it gives me access and grants me control over my decision making. I do not like subscriptions. I've mentioned it before. I do not like the push for subscriptions. I've mentioned that again. I do not like how subscriptions are the sneaky back door of live service. How can you take a game like Indiana Jones and make it live service if it's not live service? Well, convince everyone that the subscription service is the way to play it, and then lock some of the stuff behind paywalls. Deluxe editions. Now, how genius is it that you can spend $35, which is half the price of the game, to have the rest of the experience? I find that to be wild. I really do. And that's also on PC Game Pass, by the way. You can do that on PC Game Pass. But for me, what I'm realizing with this experience as a whole is I'm no longer being targeted by that price structure. Because what is more attractive to you than buying a $800 console that is a single-use device? It is used for one thing. You can say it's used for, well, not even. You pay $800, $699? Is it $699? $700 for a PlayStation 5 Pro. You're not using that as your Blu-ray player. You would have to go out and buy the Blu-ray part of it. So you're literally buying it to stream your Disney Plus or Netflix, which chances are your smart TV can already do without it. Or you're doing it for what you really are doing it for, which is playing games on a gaming device. Yeah, that doesn't have a disk drive anymore, and that subscription services for just $180 a year grants you access to close to 1,000 games that you can get. Ubisoft, well, I think Ubisoft Premium is only available on PC and maybe Xbox, but EA Play, and you can play your Star Wars games on there, and you can do all this kind of stuff. Why would I buy games anymore? I spent all my money on the console. I'll just use a subscription service because it hurts a lot less to have 1,000 games for $20 a month than it does to have anything I own. When I decided to cancel my premium subscription because I went to PC and I don't need to pay for internet anymore or pay for game access anymore, I lost 70 games. I lost access to 70 games. How crazy is that? The years I've spent downloading these games, I lost access to them because I don't own them. They're not mine. Not EA, Epic. They're mine. They're mine. I can hold on to them. Steam, they're mine. I can play them on my Steam Deck. I can play them on my crazy gaming rig. I can play them on my buddy's laptop. I can play them, if I want to try as hard as I can, on a Aya Neo. They're mine. This is something that I would have never considered. I would have never put stock in. And as I see Nintendo making the decisions that they're making about suing and all that stuff, and it kind of puts a sour taste into my mouth. You know, am I going to not buy Nintendo? Of course not, dude. It's not that sour. But I have no intention, and I will have no intention, I continue to have no intention, on purchasing any title for a Nintendo Switch product that is already available to me on Steam. Because I will have a better experience with the Steam Deck and a PC than I would with a Nintendo Switch. It's just the way it is. Even if games like Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, and Final Fantasy IX have better ports on the Nintendo Switch, I still would find myself gravitating towards the Steam Deck. One, because I can make it better through modifying or modding. That's one. And two, because I will be respected more as a Steam library user than I would by being an independent Nintendo library user. That, for me, was a unlock. A massive unlock. Something, again, I would have never experienced without diving in head first. So am I recommending people go out and start PC gaming? I'm not recommending anything. I recommend people go out and try a Steam Deck. It is incredible. But if you start to play on Steam Deck, be careful. Because the Steam Deck will convince you that you might not be playing the best way possible. And that portable gaming and hybrid gaming has a future that is much brighter than the console gaming future that we currently see before us. Because at the end of the day, having extra performance on a system that you have no ownership over is pretty tough. That's tough. All right. That's it for today. I'm going to go lay down. My head hurts. It really does. But I need to make these videos. Sorry for not giving you a video yesterday, which is today. I just couldn't make two, but we should be good. Now, as long as I can stay one ahead, we'll be good. So, you guys are awesome. Thanks for the grace. I appreciate it. But most of all, play more and be kind. Later.